2039. Gotham City has no heroes. Its people, no hope. Its youth, no future.
Evening, boys and girls. Who's up for some laughs?
Terry McGinnis was part of the problem.
Freeze right there.
You can't control your temper, and you'd better if you expect to get anywhere in life.
Yeah, I'll be a big success, just like you.
Until a moment of violence brought him to the door of a man named Bruce Wayne.
Let's put a smile on his face.
Leave him alone. Once known as the Batman.
Man, you're something. You okay?
Now, the Dark Knight will rise again to drive the shadow of evil from the streets of Gotham. Let's go! Supervillains, beware! There's a new Batman in town. Batman Beyond. Weeknights at 6:30.
You're pretty strong for some clown who thinks he's Batman.
I am Batman. Justice returns to Gotham.
Welcome to my world.
Only Toonami. The land of Eternia is a paradise with a problem. An act of betrayal has created the ultimate evil. My face! And his name is Skeletor.
Eternia will be mine! Battle position!
The only thing that can stop his evil horde is a legend no one believes in.
A hero shall emerge.
And a prince with an attitude.
All this battle training is just fun and games.
Now, a sword will choose its master. A boy will become a man. And a hero will be born. Toonami is proud to present He-Man like you've never seen him before in an all-new original movie. Masters of the Universe. Next Friday at 4. Only Toonami.
4 turtles, mutated beyond recognition. For 15 years, the brothers hid in the sewers, training in the ancient ways of the ninja.
You cannot simply walk amongst the humans.
But we can certainly fly. Woohoo!
Now the teenagers finally surface, but the welcoming committee isn't quite what they expected.
Prepare to battle, costume fools.
We're not wearing costumes.
Don't miss the world premiere of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Saturday, February 8th, 10:30 a.m. Only in the Fox Box.
The original Justice League has become a memory.
I am resigning from the Justice League.
What's gonna happen to the League now?
We rebuild. From the ashes of that great conflict, a new team has arisen. A much, much bigger team.
Each of you brings something different to the table.
Old friends, new heroes. And as usual, plenty of bad guys jumping up to get beat down.
Calm down, and I'll let you go. How about you kiss my ass?
Watch out, evildoers. There's nowhere to run. Because this year, they're all around you. The League is unlimited. Toonami presents an all-new original series, starring every superhero worth cheering for, and then some. Justice League Unlimited, premiering July 31st at 8:30 p.m.
And where am I exactly?
Among friends.
There's strength in numbers. Only Toonami.
In a future where anyone could be a cyborg, cops are a little different. The legendary cyberpunk classic finally comes to television in an all-new original series, Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. New episodes every Saturday night at 12:30. The future is now.
Every night around the world, the children sleep, unaware of danger lurking in the shadows. But this night, a strange tune floats on the wind, and the children, one by one, begin to disappear.
I wonder where she could be going.
They are taken to a land of sweet memories and used to power an evil that feeds on their dreams.
My wonderful black dream hole is consuming dream energy from children.
Now, it's up to Sailor Moon and the Sailor Soldiers to put an end to this nightmare. This time, they're gonna need a little help.
Sailor Noctourne!
Sailor Moon Super S, next Friday at 5:30. Dream on.
The children!
Only Toonami.
This place is a town of forgetfulness. 40 years ago, everything we knew was destroyed. The face of the planet changed forever.
There isn't anyone who really knows exactly what did happen.
The survivors left without memories. In the aftermath, a new society has formed.
I perform a much-needed job here in the city of amnesia.
In Paradigm City, the rich close themselves into giant domes, while the poor must live without protection. But one man stands for something more, and he does it in serious style.
As a professional, I just try to do my best.
His name is Roger Smith, the Negotiator.
Try this.
Goes against my principles, but I don't have a choice.
His allies, an android, a butler,
Leave this up to me.
and Big O.
It's showtime!
When they start a job, they always see it through.
Rest in peace! Bye-bye!
Enemies of Paradigm City, beware. There's a new robot on the block.
You're not going anywhere! You crazy little fool! You're gonna get yourself killed! Time to finish this!
We can't stay here if we do!
It ends it once and for all!
Big O. Weekdays at 5:30. Good guys still wear black. Only Toonami.
The destruction of Unicron has created a black hole, which threatens to swallow the planet.
Let's go!
Now, the Autobots' only hope is to find the ancient planet keys.
Prepare for battle!
But as usual, the Decepticons aren't playing along.
Beat it, Megatron! Oh, really?
Transformers Cybertron. New episodes, Saturdays at 7. Unlock the power.
Gotcha!
Only Toonami.
From beyond any known galaxy, bringing with them the laws and ideals of their doomed planet Thundera, come the Thundercats. Jaga, the wise. Tigra, the invisible. Chitara, the quick. Wily Cat and Wily Kit, a cunning junior duo. Patroll, the deadly. And the Snarf. The Thundercats, all sworn to serve their young lord, Lion-O, and to instruct him in the secrets of the Eye of Thundera. the eye embedded in the hilt of the mystic Sword of Omens, and the source of the Thundercat's power.
Thunder, 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 Thundercats! Ho!
Pursuing the Thundercats to Third Earth, and determined to possess the Eye of Thundera for their own evil purposes, are the hideous mutants of the planet Plundar, led by the reptilian Sly. They form an unholy alliance with the ageless devil priest of First Earth, Mumra.
Reactor engaged. Traction locked. All go.
Hello, hello. I hope you're all doing well today. A bit of an impromptu stream. Before we begin, I would like to thank Falgi from the Op Block for the Google Doc we'll be going over, because I didn't even know this thing existed until he kind of vague tweeted about it on Twitter. Couple pieces of housekeeping as always. If you guys haven't gotten the chance, you should go watch the short video I put out last night. Because for those of you who were here for the stream I did on Internet Adjacent's response video, you know how I said that he was being a snake, specifically towards me and the stuff I was concerned with? Well, looks like he may have lied, ladies and gentlemen. The group chat he had, if the images I was sent and I put in that video are completely accurate, and so far I have no reason not to think so, he absolutely did proposition the 17-year-old for a threesome well before they turned 18. Not by much, but like a week or so, which, you know, questionable legality there, but more to the point, it just proves the guy's a liar. So, yay! I hope you're all doing very well, though, on this Thanksgiving Eve, as they say. So, one thing I saw in the chat that's really interesting, right? Somebody said that Big O looks like Batman with extra steps. Funny thing about that, did you catch at the very end of the promo that he said good guys still wear black? Well, why did they say that? If you go watch the Toonami promos for Batman, the animated series, it was good guys wear black. So why did they follow that up in Big O? Well, when you look at Big O, a lot of characters in it are actually based on Batman. Right? I mean, you have an eccentric billionaire with a lot of different skills, with a secret arsenal underneath his house. He has a butler that helps him out. He has a sidekick who kind of wears red in a way, and he has a femme fatale. And I haven't confirmed this yet, but I have a feeling the way Hush was designed is a little bit of a nod towards the bandaged character in that show, whose name I can't remember. So, yay. Now, let's talk about what's going on today. Right? Talk about what's going on today. This is a Google Doc about Nightmind. Now, I probably don't need to tell you who Nightmind is, but I will just in case. Nightmind is a content creator that covers some freaky stuff in reality, massive storms, some occasionally paranoidal stuff, but he also covers unfiction or altered reality ARGs, right? He covers stuff like that. I first came into contact with his content 7 years ago for the sun vanished, like, thing that was going on. Really interesting stuff, right? So he covers a lot of creepy stories and whatnot. I enjoy his content. I haven't seen it for a while, but I enjoy his content. So before we get into this, be aware I'm not coming from a negative bias. I know there's a lot of YouTubers I don't like, and a lot of YouTubers none of you like too. But I'm not coming at this with anger. We're going to see what the doc says, and we're going to see if it stands on its own. Thankfully, this is not a 265-page doc, all right? It's not that big. So we'll be able to get through it all tonight. And, of course, then I'll go through your super chats. But you guys can tell me what you think in the chat below. Let's not rush to conclusions. Let's not try to hang the guy yet. Let's try not to, like, mass unsubscribe or whatever it is everybody does. Keep your head on, all right? Think critically. Think rationally. In fact, I'm going to make it a point here, because I don't know if the doc would go down. So what I tend to do, whenever I get a hold of a Google Doc, is I tend to copy it, right? That way, if it does go down, I have a copy. So, to Rysox, you can find it in the server. But to those of you who may be interested or want to look at it themselves, I will put this in the description later. But here is a link to the Google Doc. Actually, let me see if I can put it in the description now. You know, be a little proactive, right? Can I do it? Huzzah! I can. And hopefully, I don't buffer all night. Doc link. One moment, chat. Boop, boop, and save. Now I know that Nightmine apparently also does like furry content, but I don't watch that, so I don't know. But now that that's out of the way, now that all the qualifiers are out of the way, all right, we're gonna go into the other screen, and one day I'll figure out how to do a decent transition because I'm tired of the just fade into red. But ta-da! All right, so. Let's go ahead and... Actually, let me make sure this is locked. Lock. All right. Let's zoom this in so all of ye can see this. Huzzah. A complete documentation of Nick Nocturne's actions in the past decade. All of that. In past, that's a lot of stuff. It ain't that big of a Google Doc. Nightmind, also known as Nick Nocturne, is a YouTuber and content creator who has been creating You guys jumped on it. I see you all up here. That's funny. Who has been creating content covering independent horror projects since July of 2015. Over the past 10 years, he has developed a reputation for supporting and platforming underappreciated works from numerous creators spanning multiple platforms and mediums. This extends to hosting the Nightmind Index, an online database where new and aspiring creators within the online horror space can submit their projects for review, potentially spotlighting them on live streams and on his main channel. Kinda neat. It's not slander, I just don't cover the stuff. He has also branched out in recent years and begun doing voice acting in various works from visual novels and audio dramas to full-length audiobooks and ASMR videos. Boomer ASMR on this channel. His most recent work is playing the role of the Black Hat in an audio drama for the animated show Villainous. I've seen a little bit of Villainous. I specifically saw the episode that had like, what was it? Shoot, what did they call him? The younger generation's gonna murder me. Markiplier. Markiplier voiced like the super buff Black Hat. That was a great episode. Very funny, very much so my humor. And some of his work on the series, Paranormal Paranoids, try saying that 12 times fast, was featured in the recent found footage adaptation known as Shelby Oaks. Why are so many horror things like named, Place Tree? Right? His channel also received some viewership from being broadcasted on television via local networks through Paranormal TV and its affiliates, and has been featured in an ARG magazine and interviewed for a few different horror-focused websites for his work on YouTube. He also served as the Master of Ceremonies at the annual Halloween-themed furry convention known as Furpocalypse in 2018, 2019, and 2022, hosting the opening and closing ceremonies at those events. A furry Halloween-themed convention. There's some demons up in there, yo. I wanted to share all of his roles here to illustrate his presence, influence, and significance to the community that surrounds various online horror projects and events. He has served as an inspiration and voice of authority within the genre for the better part of the last decade. However, it's in more bold and italicized, unbeknownst to many of his casual viewers and general audience, he has a long history of exploiting, manipulating, and taking advantage of both his closest supporters and some that once considered him a friend until they began questioning or criticizing actions he has taken throughout the past decade. Throughout this document, I want to illustrate a pattern of behavior through a long history of scandals and incidents that have occurred several times throughout his online career and how he responded to them, as well as exposing his more general audience to some of the lesser-known things he's engaged in behind the scenes, including the emotional grooming of at least one fan over private DMs. This is going to get stupid, isn't it? Emotional grooming. I pray to God for patience, because if he gave me strength, I would commit crimes. I encourage you to read this entire document, to view all the links, comments, and other evidence, to present presented before making your own personal evaluations and judgments. Well, okay. Harassment and drama. That doesn't need to be its own thing. Anyways, going back as early as 2017 and as recently as September 2025, Nick has a long history of drama, scandals, and bad actions that I want to document here, ranging from repeatedly ignoring the stated boundaries of a friend, ostracizing and condemning those he had personal disagreements with, lashing out at fans, and victim blaming. But I'll let you be the judge. Copying him, in quotation marks. Starting in 2017, Nick's earliest issues involved him singling out certain channels that he claimed were copying him. During one instance, he came into conflict with two channels of note, Rainbot and Nightmare Expo, today known as Nexpo. I actually watched that channel. Some of his grievances at the time include people using the words night or nightmare in their usernames because he believed they were too similar to his own, going after smaller channels and creators for this and other reasons until the backlash became significant enough. Let me check something. I'm curious. Because one thing this thing doesn't do that I've seen so far. I need to check something. Find age. How old's this guy? Internet, stop being slow. No public age. Well, if I really wanted to, I could probably find it, but no. Perhaps these copying claims are a mark of immaturity at the time. Whether it be in the field or whether it be in his own life, sometimes people make goofy claims. But the truth of the matter is, when it comes to anything you do, even the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. Everything is derivative of something. You can look at my content and you can find where I've been inspired by, like, retro blasting, even some cases, Jabby the Hong, whatever, right? I'm nowhere near as entertaining as either of those, but, I tried. That's why nobody watches my toy reviews. But anyways, Lio read it in a funny plus voice, entertaining. I will do it dramatically, but I'm not going to do it in a funny voice. I actually don't think my voice could handle it right now. So he's almost 30 now. So, back in his early 20s, yeah, that was probably pretty immature of him. That makes sense. There's some suggested images in the doc. Why? I will scroll carefully. Yes. While many of the tweets and posts from this drama are deleted now, a trend that will continue as Nick has a habit of trying to cover his tracks when the optics aren't in his favor. Some people manage to screenshot and archive some of his behavior, and in instances such as this, expressing criticism towards the creators and the content they produced until they smooth things over. Now, here's what I'm going to do, alright, because I don't know what's in this, unfortunately. Where is it? Show yourself, fool. Alright, so I'm gonna do this, just in case. Just in case. There you go. Click. Why? Why don't you just let me link to it? Why do I have to... I hate this. I hate that I have to copy this. Don't make me do more. You big gay. Affectionate. Let me just double check here. I mean, what the heck? What is this garbage? I hate Tumblr. Alright, there's nothing lascivious here, so... Boop. I'm going to try my best, because I can't... The links are fine, I just have to copy and paste them, and I hate that. I'm sorry, I can't zoom in on this. I don't know how. That's the search tab. I'm not even about to try to pronounce that name. Asked, yo, what did Nightmind do? I've watched him for a long while, but I've never heard of him being problematic. There's not a single human being currently in physical foot on this planet that is not problematic in one way or another. Sorry for being a bit late on this. Usually I'm more punctual with replies. Anyways, the most recent drama involves an altercation between Rachel... Why is this hyperlinked? I'm not going down this rabbit hole. One of his patrons and myself. The basic gist of it is that Rachel criticizes Nick for not having a vent channel in his Patreon exclusive Discord. Frankly, no. Okay, I'm gonna be that guy. I'm old, so I gotta be that guy. You do not need a vent channel in a Discord. In fact, your vents and talks like that should be between friends you trust, not in public channels where everybody can see it. There's a concept of personal information that everybody online seems to have lost their minds about and put in the wrong direction. So what do? They put out all the things that bother them publicly, And then when they get in controversy, they get shocked Pikachu face that is utilized against them. And then they turn around and tell you what their fetishes are when you didn't even freaking ask. Like, guys, you got to learn the concept of shame and decency, all right? You do not need a vent channel. It is the worst idea ever. I promise you. You know, we actually had a joke vent channel in the Senate years back. Why do we have it? It was literally a gag. We would literally just post, like, physical vents you would find in a house, right? People still didn't pay attention and actually tried to vent, and we told them stop. We had to shut it down because they didn't get the joke, right? It is not a reasonable request. You are goofy. And made some threatening statements within the message to Rachel. Another person pointed out that Nick might have misgendered Nick's fears, okay. But who knows if we'll ever get clarification on that. Speaking of May, she confirmed on Twitter that Nick stated he didn't have a vent channel because he didn't want to give the people a hug box. That's reasonable. Oh, you're from Love Like Martian? Well, welcome here. Hope you enjoy it. Which is outlined in this post as being able... How is Hugbox ableist? I'm not even past, like, the first set of stuff and I'm losing it. A Hugbox is in reference to an emotional value within a specific space, meaning you cannot question, criticize, or condemn thought in that space contrary to what other people are thinking. That is a hug boss. It is not a good thing. Now, I'll be honest, to a degree, just about every server is some form of hug box, right? Just about every server is. Like, if you go into my server and you start talking about how, guys, you think the age of consent should be lowered and kids can totally consent, yeah, we're going to beat the living daylights out of you verbally, put you in way out back, poke you until you leave, right? One could argue that is a form of hug box because, well, we're not tolerating dissenting opinions. Granted, this is an extreme example, but I needed to give you guys something there, right? Saying he doesn't want to give people hug box is not ableist. Ableist, trust me, I would know, is about attacking people and demeaning them for something they cannot control. You can control being in a hug box within reason. Speaking of ableism, Nick has had malfunctions in recent and past with it. Malfunctions? Is Nick a robot? Is he a Decepticon? Autobots, we found Megatron. He's in a new Pretender shell, running a YouTube channel. I don't have any links as a buffer on this one, but Nick retweeted a tweet using the R slur, obviously deleted now, well, you know. But the screenshots are still there. Louder for the people in back. You should totally check out this totally uninspired ARG that is half based on crap that already exists. It's like people don't understand the purpose of your channel is to highlight creative and new indie content, not to give attention to the binary, I am God, yada yada. He just retweeted it. That's not his fault the word's in there. Okay, I don't say slurs, alright? I don't. Unless I don't know it's a slur, which has happened. Or, in the case I had to educate a certain Yennefer in the chat that a certain wrestler's phrase was racist. That was a fun conversation. But, if you operate in reality, you're going to have to interact with things that are not aligning with your values. If I am at work, people sometimes use slurs because I'm out in public. Am I going to melt down and start freaking out? Am I going to stop doing my job because the guy I'm working with is not using the correct language one should in this modern age? I suppose you could use the term. No, I have a job to do, and you have to work with these things, right? You can make the argument that he didn't see the slur. You could say he didn't see it at first and deleted it once he realized, but considering he didn't apologize, to my knowledge, I'm going to go ahead and call it as him wanting to cover his own butt. You don't have to make a public apology for every single wrong you've ever done. That is asinine. The tweet sparked a decently long discussion on the issues with how Nick goes over and analyzes horror media. I guess that's fair. As for older dramas, I'm going to need to do more research and find more tangible sources, but from my memory, Nick won a huge Twitter rant about how other, smaller horror YouTubers, I believe Rainbot, Nightmare Expo, and Mr. Nightmare, who he was ranting about, were stealing his thing, aka discussing horror material in a calm voice while having night/nightmare in your name. The only documentation I have on this currently is this Reddit thread. I am not going to Reddit. I hate Reddit. And the reason I hate Reddit isn't inherently because of them always sniffing their own farts. I grew up in the age of bulletin board code. I didn't need us to go back to it. I actually hate it. Like, I was on the alt transformer, like, mailing list that use these same types of code. I hate it. I freaking hated it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it now. Alright. No Reddit. Die. But, hopefully I'll get more substantial stuff on this. Another thing to note in general is that Nick has changed his friends / his inner circle quite often. You know, there's very few times I kind of wish I had a VTuber model so you guys could see some of the expressions I'm making here, but I just did a whole The Office turning to the camera with a blank face look. That's what... Friends change over time, doofus! Anyways, quite often, you could chalk it up to just drifting interest. The fact that it happens so often is indicative of some off-color behavior. No, with how he treats his friends. I mean, if they come out and say they're all, like, abusive, maybe? If they all come out and say he's abusive, maybe, but just friends changing? What? Admitting they had a falling out with him. Evidence? Closing this out, and I don't have any knowledge on the dramas prior to this, but these more recent occurrences are not anything new with how Nick acts. I can add to this. In regards to Undercooked Gate, a series of dramas, referring to the Creepypasta podcast Undercooked Analysis, Nick was, formerly frequent guest on the show after their video on 1999, a controversial series which plagiarized Alan Tutorial, but that's a story for another day. This was one of his friend circles, David, Allen, and Dead Palette, who had the most issue with Nick, which he puts in his own words here. Brother, I can't read that. Do I look like I know what a JPEG is? Also, wait, hold on. Okay, so he was a guest on the show after a controversial series? What's the problem, exactly? I mean, I don't know anything about 1999. Some of you were dorks in that direction. Like, was it like how kid touchers are superior or something? Or that they're going to take over the world? Like, what was so terrible about that compared to just about every other creepypasta I've ever heard of that's unhinged and freaky? What is it about that was so controversial? I promise, if this is a has-been hotel situation where everything takes place in hell but they get mad over slurs, Lord, give me patience. Alright. TLDR, Nick was friends with Max Landis, the director of the TV adaptation of Candle Cove, Dead Palette, and another co-host had an issue with the show. Nick's mad at the two. This parallels attitudes towards crappy web series, but that's supposed to... Why was this here? Why was this here? What does this prove? This proves you can't source crap for nothing. Alright, gonna go back to the Google Doc. Boop. Because I'm not clicking on that Reddit link. Reddit can die. As well as comments from people on his subreddit who were present at the time of the conflict and can provide additional context. While Nick patched things up with those mentioned here to my knowledge, this is the beginning of a long trend that will continue. If he patched them up, why are you relitigating it? If the people you think he has wronged have been patched up with him, why are you using this as a tool? Die! Nick Spheres, 2017 through 2018. Oh boy. Following this, the most significant drama of Nick's early career came from the creator known as Nick Spheres, also known as May. Nix and Nick, I'm going to lose it, collabed on a stream in which Nick invaded their space and touched them without their consent in a way that made Nick feel deeply uncomfortable. Despite their repeated attempts to express their discomfort with his behavior, he persisted and believed he'd done nothing wrong in the aftermath until the backlash became significant enough, claiming that Nick had backstabbed him and betrayed their friendship until the truth came out in the matter. Nick's documented their feelings and has now deleted a post here. Alright, we're gonna go back in, boop, just in case, because now, look, after Jar's stuff, I'm very paranoid. And I don't think I'm paranoid without just cause, frankly. Boop. Gotta make sure there's no stuff on here. Okay. Are you gonna, there we go. Just pulling through this. Okay. I shouldn't have to live like this! Alright, a very bad post. Hey loves, so let's talk about dysphoria. It can manifest in a number of terrible ways, and growing up with dysphoria can be difficult because often it goes unidentified. You look at yourself, and you hate yourself and feel powerless to fix it. But you tack it down to just an inherent ugliness. There are a billion things that can make me dysphoric, but my biggest dysphoria trigger has always been... I missed myself. My explicitly masculine hairline and forehead shape. Because of this, I've worn hats since I was 14, every single day without fail. It became kind of my thing, but it stopped me from experiencing painful dysphoria. So now this post is going to get very sad and bad, and I'm going to preemptively warn you all if you have severe dysphoria triggers. So Nick Noctourne came to visit me July of 2017. We spent around a week together and had an alright time, but when I think about that week, I can't help but think about one specific thing he did and how it affected me. Now, it's important to point out that at this time, I was not openly trans to him, or anyone really, but that shouldn't matter a ton in regards to this. Nick was fascinated with my hat and wanted to see what was under it. The first conversation about it, he just asked candidly what I was hiding and told me to take it off. I said no. He kept pushing me to take it off, and I had to very directly say no, never. That's the end of this conversation. He brought it up vaguely a couple other times, but this all came to a head during a live stream. We did exactly one live stream where he was here, and it was awkward and weird and ended very badly. He didn't want to appear on camera as he, ironically, is very guarded about his appearance. So we wore a cat puppet on his hand. You're pissing on my lawn, man. Where did I leave off? And then put that in the shot with me, and we answered questions. The stream is fairly bro-y and stupid, and I wouldn't say it represents me well, especially now. But it's also horribly awkward because he kept rubbing the cat puppet, his hand, on my body. There are several moments during the stream where you can kind of see me cringe because I didn't know why he was touching me so much. And I couldn't escape or say anything because we were on stream. Then it gets momentarily worse when Nick says, I think I'll take this, and tries to take my hat off on stream. I was able to save it, but the damage has been done. My dysphoria was beyond damaged, and 5 minutes later the stream ended because my soul had left my body. Immediately after the stream, I asked him why he would do that when I firmly told him no, and he lied to my face and said it was an accident, and he just meant to pet my head, which is weird anyways. I think I'll take this. Nick Noctourne tried to humiliate me intentionally on a live stream after using my captivity to touch me without my consent. This is from someone who consistently insists I am a backstabber for ending our friendship, but guess what? I kept our friendship going for months after this. I tolerated this feeling inside me that someone I considered a friend would intentionally do this to harm me in front of the only thing I had in my life. Over the course of that week, he saw my life and heard many of my struggles, and made it fairly clear that YouTube was all I had. And he tried to humiliate me and hurt me with the only thing I had. It's all on video, so just gotta make sure. I'm sorry I keep making the screen black, but I trust nothing! Come on. Do what I tell you. Do it because I told you to. Oh, goodness. Nope. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot watch that video. It is not showing. The Wayback Machine does not have it. Now, I will say, if that is true, and I'm going to keep saying this, and it has upset some people, you'll get over it. If you have someone putting their hands on you after you've told them multiple times not to, violence. Violence. Get loud, get violent, and it will either embarrass them or they'll be dumb enough to try to come at you, in which case they've made themselves an absolute target. Right? Get loud, get public, get violent. Because I've had enough of these stories. You guys, I'm not saying that it's their fault, right? Obviously, it's not the fault of the people who are being messed with like this, but I'm telling you, you have more power than you probably think you do. And you need to be able to weaponize that literally against the people trying to harm you. I promise you, these people who do crap like this are the biggest cowards you will ever meet. I can promise you that. Like, here's the thing, right? One in chat, if you've ever seen an altercation between a cat and a massive dog, and the cat runs the dog off. One in chat if anybody's ever seen something like that, alright? Can you put that in chat? Thankfully, the stream's not too far behind. It's only about 5 seconds. So we'll see that here. All right, so why does that happen? Because you see, as human beings, we are more tactical and rational creatures in terms of our thought processes. So we're like, that dog's massive. It could just bite the cat in half if it wanted to. The reason why is because animals, and this is how our brain works deep down in our skull meat, it works on risk versus reward. Yeah, the dog could probably take out the cat, but the cat may do damage to the dog's paws or its face and may injure the dog to the point where it can't hunt, can't do anything else, and the risk of that injury is not worth what little meat the cat's got. And most people who are predatory or are abusive like that, their brain works the exact same way. If you prove yourself to be too high risk to dick with, they will stop by the nature of self-preservation, and if they're too stupid to do that, they're going to learn very quickly why animals do that, because that's where their family line's going to end, right? Okay, so that's my value on that. Someone close to Nick's, Skellyfish, was also present during this collaboration and reported on their experiences with Nick in a now deleted post you can find in a Reddit thread surrounding Nick's post right here. Again, I'm not going to Reddit. Here's some additional posts from Nick's on the matter. When I discontinued our friendship, I lost many a friend and supporter, felt dejected and miserable, and it felt like none of them would hear my side. I kept quiet for over a year to prevent further damage. There's a lot more, but this is easily the worst thing Nick did to me. This is incredible victim blaming right here on this day. Nick was the second person I came out to when I eventually did, because he kind of had made me tell him, I don't need a reason for personal boundaries, and I'm sorry, but I'm what ways is in what, sorry. It's supposed to be in there, I said him. Touching me somehow my trust issue. Here's the thing. You are not obligated to let someone remove a piece of clothing from you, and the person doing it is not entitled to be able to do that. Like, if I'm out in public and somebody tries to take my jacket, do you don't think a fight's going to happen? It would. The same thing with a hat. Like, if somebody's messing with your hat, beat them. They have no right to that. And people got to learn. As well as noting that Nick has a long history of hiding behind his work as a noble cause, using it as a shield to deflect criticism, while also putting down others who tried to do the same in his early days and acting as though he was an arbiter on what makes a good web series. I don't need to tell you how he constantly talks about how his channel is a good deed to promote indie creators, only for him to turn around and crap on people for trying their best. Who's being quoted here? Where's the accreditation? Who said this? In response to all of this information, Nick did post a lengthy apology that I'll get to in the third section of this document, and while Nick did eventually forgive Nick in the following years, I'm going to finish this and I'm going to say something. I'm not as convinced that he's changed. As you'll see as we progress, for now, I just want you to consider the experiences these two individuals had with Nick during his collaboration. Okay. Did you ask Nix if you could trudge this up? Because if you'll notice, all of these things are on Wayback Machines and archive stuff. Did you ask them? Did you ask her if this was okay? Them, I actually don't know their gender, so I'll say they. Did you ask them if they were okay with this? Because if not, you just put out a traumatic experience they went through that you believe 100% is true to use as a gotcha. You just use somebody else's pain as a cudgel. If you didn't even get their permission for this. Oh, I'm not even halfway and this has already pissed me off. Hugbox. In the aftermath of the incidents with Nick Spheres, Nick also came under fire for some of his behavior on his own Patreon-exclusive Discord server. One of his moderators, named Rachel, wanted to create a safe space for his fans to vent and feel comfortable. Nick objected to this idea and didn't want to create a hugbox for people. This behavior is documented in some archived Tumblr posts such as this one here. Some highlighted examples of his messages can be shown here. Okay, we're going to read this because, again, let me see what I can do here. Let's see if I can do anything here. Copy. Read. Because I don't know what's in here. So again, black screen. Yay. Good Lord, this is ridiculous. This is one reason why I really hate Tumblr. It doesn't actually just take you to a specific post. It shows you a whole bunch of things. But we're going to pull it up any screens. So, Jess the Queer says, this is abuse. Hey, my name is May. That's Nick Spears. Hi, May. I'm Jess, and I really hate bullies and toxic abuse. Maybe they're referring to a different May, because this is a screen cap that is in the Google Doc. We'll get to that shortly. She criticized him for a couple of different things, a couple bad jokes, and refusal to put a venting space in his Discord, even though folks wanted him, claiming he didn't want to give them a hug box. Point blank, you play nice and be general. Stop giving. I'm having a hard time reading this. I'm sorry, chat. It's too small. While abuse specifically... Actually, I wonder. Let me test something here. Boop. Ha! I found a workaround. Point blank. You play nice and be general. Be general? Be a general! Stop giving moments of sarcasm and shade at myself and others trying to get away with passive aggression and the pushing of everything your head's been filled with by the most unforgiving and begrudging person I've ever had the misfortune of being stabbed in the heart by, and you chill out. Be general, be nice, be casual, roll your eyes when you see stupid things and move on. No lectures, and no more tiny statements to get away with pissing down my back. Ugh. I have a feeling this one's talking about me. That's Nick's saying that, so... While abuse specifically refers to a pattern of behavior that is nearly impossible to verify through a few screen caps, we are here documenting the fact that Nick Noctourne is known to treat fans of his work in such a condescending and dismissive manner. The first 3 screenshots refer to Rachel, a moderator of his Patreon-exclusive Discord server. Nick Nocturne's comments about May refer to Nick Spears, another vlogger and former collaborator. They have had quite a quiet falling out sometime earlier this year. May's responses here lead us to believe it was along similar lines as what Rachel experienced. So what are we talking about here, right? Now that I can read this. Rachel. This crap is tough, but for your own betterment, you have to look in the mirror and say, I am a fully grown and competent 28-year-old woman. I am an adult. One simple statement. Copy and paste what I wrote if you want. You don't need to talk to him. Just confirm what he's getting across, and let's end this here and now with no more squabbles. And yes, and please, Rachel, please, you and I squashed our beef, hatchet buried. Please stop sniping me. We are done fighting each other and lying about it to ourselves and each other. Moving on with the day now. Just copy and paste. Pick yourself up. You can do this. Let's roll on. And if I see a single message, tweet, Tumblr post, or anything from May attacking me on your behalf in any form over this, you and I are forever done. You understand? This is you and me and you, as adults, no side people or third parties. Let's keep that respect and maturity. Deep rest now. Calm time. Do what you gotta do, and know we'll be good. Now, this seems very condescending. I'm not going to deny that, right? It really does. But I also don't know what the context is, because this is the same as this. So I don't have any context for where this came from. Let's see if this... Because this is the same thing. There's also this message from Nick referring to Nick's and May from earlier, provided context for their past issues and nature of the relationship. Is line tells that's the same way. What? Why is this here? It's literally the same thing as this. This proves nothing, unfortunately for them. Dead Pallet and Slime Beast. Why am I not surprised Slime Beast is involved? Why am I not surprised he's involved? For a time in 2018, Nick was a regular guest on a podcast called Midnight Marinara, as well as, it sounds like something I do in the middle of the night when I'm hungry, as well as a spin-off entitled Undercooked Analysis, or UCA for short. He moderated and participated in several conversations about various horror topics with the 3 main hosts. These were David, Alan, and Brandon. Brandon was also known as Dead Pallet. Another friend of Nick's and a close friend of Dead Pallet was Slime Beast. For those familiar, Slime Beast was fairly well known as a creepypasta writer in the early days of the genre. He was also a regular guest and participant on this podcast for discussions. Also in 2018, Nick was sponsored on his Patreon by a Hollywood Report producer named Max Landis. Max Landis, whom he also considered a friend. I prefer Maxwell Adams myself. Max Landis was later outed as a sexual predator during the Speaking Out movement. I thought that was the Me Too movement. I could be wrong. In 2018-2019, and his reputation before the scandal was said to be an open secret in Hollywood. That's why I don't trust Hollywood. They all touch kids. The earliest allegations during his own scandals came out in December of 2017, which predates his association with Nick in 2018. Doesn't mean Nick knew. Landis has purchased the rights to a few popular creepypastas and wanted to produce content for a show entitled Channel Zero, bringing them to life. None of y'all are ever going to beat the Twilight Zone. With Landis also being a Patreon sponsor for Nick, he wanted to make sure people he was associated with didn't criticize the show too much to stay in Landis' good graces. Dead Palette and Slime Beast both took issue with this, especially Brandon, and Nick proceeded to become frustrated with them for not forgiving him when he tried to apologize for this. Here is one such statement from Brandon/Dead Palette about their issues with Nick at the time. It's a bit blurry, so I've transcribed it below. So Channel Zero is a show adaptation of Candle Crow, a poor one. I messaged executive producer Max Landis on Twitter saying the adaptation was off the mark. Why wouldn't you be deeper involved in that? I mean, is it this guy's adaptation? Because why would you contact him on Twitter about it? A very soft criticism, if you ask me. Landis was rude to me, but that was the end of that. Or so I thought. A bit later, Nick Nocturne contacts myself and another person in a private chat telling us not to critique Channel Zero. When I asked why I would fulfill such an odd request, Nick became abusive towards me. How? I continued to question him, and it came to light that Nick is friends with Max Landis, so he privately admits that Channel Zero looks lackluster to myself and others, but was planning on making a video covering it in a positive light. Nick phrased his relationship with Max as a supporter. Take that as you will, but that's completely gross for both parties, as Nick was trying to keep his relationship under wraps. If that is true, yeah, don't be a pussy, but there's so much description about things that do not really inherently matter in terms of the context of things here, but saying he's being abusive and he won't tell him how. Brother, please. So Nick is privately trying to silence critics of his show his friends make. All the while, he was claiming to be a journalist to myself and others. How he didn't understand that made things 100 times worse, I don't know. After telling him he was being a dick, he apologized by asking me to work for him for free, writing and voice work. Weird apology. I didn't accept, for two reasons. Firstly, I don't get paid in publicity, and you can't curry my favor with it. Secondly, he wanted absolution for something he did that was clearly unethical. I wasn't willing to give him that. I stopped responding to his messages. In the following months, Nick would start contacting mutual friends asking if I was still mad. He was emotionally manipulating our friends into trying to get me to work for someone I didn't want to work with. I know he was manipulating them because he tried the same stuff with me, repeatedly insisting that we were friends because he chatted for like 2 hours for a show. I think he was doing it because he didn't want me to go public with this, but I had no intention of doing that or making further comments about Channel Zero. I was just done with him in the situation. I expressly told David not to have Nick on our show. He agreed. Alan knew I didn't want him around, and Nick obviously knew, as we had one last 30-minute Skype chat where I told him not to. I hate drama, but Nick loves that stuff, as I know I wasn't the only drama focused around him behind the scenes. His fans might not like this comment, but Nick Nocturne is dishonest and isn't afraid to lie for friends. We need evidence, not just statements. I don't want there to be a confusion about this. I'm leaving UCA because my co-hosts wouldn't accept my request. I didn't make issues about working with him on other stuff, but a show I helped build has been hijacked by someone that has no moral fiber. I'm sorry to everyone that liked my presence on the show, but this situation isn't workable. David picked promotion over friends. Yes, this is real, not a joke. I don't know what's happening with the flaming units. Sorry about that too. During a private discussion I had with Slime Beast through the course of my research, he personally recalled the story to me in the following way. As far as I recall, Nick had Max Landis as a Patreon sponsor and wanted not only to keep him as such, but probably getting good with a movie/TV producer. Max Landis bought the rights to some creepypastas and put out a TV show called Zero Channel that Dead Palette and I figured was going to suck. Nick approached Dead Palette and I and asked us not to publicly diss the show because he wanted to keep connected with Landis and didn't want to be associated with people speaking ill of the project. I thought it was lame but dismissed it as whatever because I hadn't planned on talking about the show anyways. After all these events, I saw how it turned out and changed my mind. Lol. Dead Palette took it even more personally and was really grossed out by the supposed friend asking him to censor himself publicly to keep Nick's money and connection secure. The two of them had a falling out privately, and the understanding that Nick wouldn't come back on the podcast Dead Palette co-hosted, and that they were done being friends, etc. Sometime after, the other podcast hosts went behind Dead Palette's back and had Nick on an episode he wasn't around for. So Dead Palette quit the show and walked away from the other co-hosts as well. He was really getting treated like crap for no reason. Nick publicly made a Tumblr post that went on and on and on about how he shouldn't have asked Dead Palette to censor himself, but then he had really laid into blaming Palette for being mean, reacting poorly, all of that. In this Tumblr post, Nick also smeared me for zero effing reason just to try to make it worse for Dead Palette since I was still friends with him. Basically, it comes down to Nick putting money and influence over friendship, a former friend getting really mad at that, and Nick trying to play victim the entire way through. Okay, I really wish it had shown that this is Slime Beast sending this. Because unfortunately, we can sit there here and say, well, this could be anybody. But if it is Slime Beast, at least that's consistent with the other story. So, could be real. He also provided a link to an archive video detailing Nick's own response on this incident and Dead Palette refusing to forgive him that you can find here. Alright, let me peek at it. I don't trust any of this. Of course. I am not putting everybody through a 2.5 hour stream on that alone. No. If you guys want to watch it, there's the freaking link. You can also see this thread summarizing this video and discussing the issue on the Nightmind subreddit here, noting that much of the Nick was written was factually incorrect and designed to make Dead Palette look worse. Feel free to reference that yourselves. Regardless of your opinions on Dead Palette's behavior in this situation, and I do personally believe they were being more difficult than was needed, one thing that becomes clear at this point is that Nick has a habit of making big apologies for his behavior and actions, and expects to be forgiven for his transgressions. When he isn't forgiven, he lashes out in response, and will brand the other party as a bad person when he isn't getting the response he wants out of the people who are under no obligation to forgive him, unless the evidence is overwhelmingly against him. I'll touch on this more later. Yeah, well, if you're apologizing, and they don't forgive you, suck it up. Bruh. Suck it up. Crypt TV. In 2018, Nick began covering a short film sharing platform known as Crypt TV. To my knowledge, these videos are still publicly viewable. He covered this platform and promoted it, giving it a favorable view. However, he didn't express at the time that he was a collaborator with Crypt TV and stood to gain from the platform's promotion. Slime Beast also covered this issue in a video here, not watching it. Mentioning Nick was listed as a partner on Crypt TV's website weeks before his first video covering the project, Nick continued to promote the platform several months later. Well, was he, I don't know, ethical enough to say that he's involved in it? Because if so, then whatever, right? Noting in that video that when he tried to bring this issue to the attention of Nick's community on Reddit, he was banned, but was informed by another on the website that Nick himself personally told the mods to remove Slime Beast's posts and ban him. Nick contacted the mod team, sympathetic to you, so I don't think I can do anything without... Sorry, too much redacted here. Tribe 12, Tribe 12? Isn't that like the Marble Hornets guys? Which had nothing to do with marbles or hornets, had to do with the Slender Man dork. Whatever. Frustrating. I'm just going to go on a short rant. Why are you calling it Marble Hornets when it has nothing to do with marbles or hornets? This is just like the fact that I went to a lounge called the Cat Eye Lounge, and there were no cats there, just strippers. I went there to see cats, and there were strippers. Where you go to Hooters, not a single freaking owl there. And Alligator Alcatraz apparently isn't an alligator sanctuary, it's something worse. Stop naming things in ways that confuse the autistic. In the early days of this channel, Nick expressed a great love of his project known as Tribe 12, alongside Marble Hornets and Everyman Hybrid. All three were influential and well-received Slenderman projects that Nick covered in great detail in several different series comprised of several parts each. Tribe 12 was a favorite of his, and he invited the creator onto the channel for his annual Candy Bowl special around Halloween 2018. In 2020, it came to light that Adam Rosner, the creator of the Tribe 12, who played the lead role as Noah Maxwell, had groomed and emotionally manipulated several fans in private chats and calls over the course of preceding years. You can find an archive of his timeline here. Okay, so those of you who may know about this, because I don't, did he actually groom anybody, or are they just trying to slap the word grooming on a whole bunch of other things? So you guys can let me know, because I don't know. I think Sarah knows about this, actually. One moment. Let me see if I can find her. Or if she's even available. Actually, I think there's a call going on in her server right now. Let me double check. Awesome. We're gonna visit Auntie Sarah's server real quick. Hello. I'm actually here for Sarah. I have a question that's, well, not the same question I asked earlier today. We're low convoy. Adam Rosner. What can you tell me about him? Yes, primarily, did he actually groom people, or is that shenanigans?
Okay, let me double check. It's been a while since I had my info ready. Hold on. I will take one skim through my video real quick, and I will immediately remind myself.
All right. The reason I ask is I'm going through this Nightmind doc, and they're mentioned here, and they're called a groomer, and I just wanted to make sure if this is accurate or not.
Adam Rosner was discussed by Nightmind, yes. Are you talking about his Nightmind's post about Adam Rosner?
No, there was a Google Doc about Nightmind that came out that I'm currently covering on stream, so hey, say hi to my chat.
Oh, hi, nice, awesome.
It is I, the nefarious Dolphin Man.
Dolphin Man. But I saw you guys here, so I'm like, I'll just peek in and see if Sarah remembers any of this, because I know you did a Marble Hornets video.
Okay.
My apologies. I should have told you I was streaming when I came in. My apologies.
It was a person named Eve Bings revealed to her followers that she had been groomed by Adam Rosner, and she was 15 at the time. That's what she alleged. I think there was another person, and then there was an individual who, let's see. Adam said he was into bestiality.
Fantastic.
Of course he was.
Accused of date rape, and then there was the recording of him where he used autism as an excuse.
Of course he did.
As they all do.
But yeah, you'd have to. Yeah, that's your synopsis there.
Well, thank you very much for the info, Sarah. I'll leave you to playing your video games. I hope you, Lou, and Baiji have a good night. And why can't it ever be like tax theft?
Fuck you, that's why.
I guess so. Have a good night, guys. Alright, so, I do apologize. I should have let her know that I was streaming when I came in there. But apparently, yes, it's true. But anyways, he reached out to Nick when all this information first came out, and Nick defended him briefly before backtracking. His evidence became too great to deny any longer. That's normal. It's normal. Rushing out a lengthy statement condemning Noah and his experience with him over the course of his scandal as it unfolded, playing the victim, and eventually deleting it when the feedback he received turned against him. Where is it? Where is it? We'll cover his apology in the third section of this document. Third section? I guess down here. Here's the plan, in quotation marks. Alright, we're doing this again. Says my connection's excellent, but it's buffering. Fine, I will open the widget. What do you mean not enough video? You happy? There's plenty of video there. Did that actually work? If that actually worked, I'm going to be pissed. Oh my god, it actually did work. That is horrifically embarrassing. Apparently, because I stood in one place for too long, the dumb thing said that I didn't have enough video on the screen. So, wiggling the freaking mouse gave it enough video. But anyways, we'll cover this in the next section. Here's the plan. All in quotation. Starting in late 2022, Nick began streaming on Twitch, eventually adopting a VTuber model after joining the VTuber agency known as Astraline, alongside Merryweather Media, I know who that is, Fred Knudsen, does he still do content? LumiTuber, Alfhide, and Oifi as one of its founding members. More on Astraline later. There's no way that person didn't get, compared to Astroglide. No way. More on them later, but now I want to focus on Nick himself. He began uploading some VODs from his streams and promoting his work on his two channels. Shortly after this, but began receiving some negative feedback for some members of his core audience. In response to this, he uploaded a video entitled, "Here's the Plan. Here's the plan. We kill the Batman." In September 2023, while this video has long since been deleted, comments and responses from the audience on the subreddit and wider communities discuss him cussing out his fans and telling them to leave if they don't like this new content. You can read that here. Yeah, that sounds like immaturity, generally. Backlash to this video was significant enough that he seemed to have deleted it within 3 to 4 months based on what I was able to find on the Wayback Machine. Divorce details. Maybe later, Lulu. We do love you. Everybody say hi to Lulu and that you love her. Alex kissed her. In 2024, tell Sarah you love her too, or else. In 2024, and you don't even Baiji. Tell Baiji you love him. The creator of the popular analog horror series called The Mandela Catalog, I don't like that one, was accused of grooming some younger fans by his ex. Nick was one of several who jumped on the bandwagon, railing against him as a result of these accusations. You can find several sources detailing this piece of drama, including several YouTube videos documenting the case, with this Reddit post serving as the final word on it for the most part. This relies way too much on Reddit. Also, fun fact, Psy got banned from the YouTuber drama subreddit, which is really, really funny. Nick backpedaled on this attack quickly and put out an apology that was criticized by many for still putting a lot of blame on Alex for not understanding power dynamics and characterizing the ex's actions as noble, despite their expressed intent to destroy Alex's career due to their own grudge/vendetta against him. Fred Nussin does still make content, just wasn't a blue moon. Yeah, the dolphin. I don't care if Sarah's here, they can still say they love her. As you may expect by now, his posts involved in this drama and his final apology have been deleted and wiped from the internet at this point. Why didn't you save it? But she's here in your walls. Thank you, Baiji. But someone on Reddit managed to salvage his post to provide some further context here, as well as feedback from the community surrounding the Mandela Catalog. All right. Link to the comment that has archived Nick's deleted post apologizing to Alex is linked in section 3. Pop in hypocrisy. What? Incident from September 2025, which is why he took a hiatus from streaming over a month. Nick played the game known as Lollipop Chainsaw Repop. Okay. During concerns about the developers of the game, noted that the developers had issued statements prior to the game's release that were critical of DEI initiatives and policies. Okay. Here we go. My encoder's running fine. Am I alive? Do I yet live? I do not know if I live, but this is getting very irritating, like unironically very irritating. Anywho, so these people were critical of DEI initiatives and policies, okay. Here's the truth of the matter. The people who work on the things you enjoy, the people who make the clothes you wear, the people who make the shows you watch, the people who write the books you read, they're not always going to agree with you, and some of them are going to be dickheads, alright? Nick has previously and currently expressed opinions consistent with support of these policies, yet when these concerns were raised by his chat members, he took on a condescending and dismissive tone towards the concerns of these viewers. All you have to do is say, hey, these guys are dickheads and I disagree with them. Anyways, game time. He took on a condescending and dismissive tone towards the concerns of these viewers. His mods banned those that mentioned it, and Nick continued to praise the game for several hours until backlash began to mount on Twitter and Blue Sky from viewers who had been banned for expressing their concerns. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna try something real quick. All right, give me a second. I'm gonna try something just real quick. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to scene 2, right? And what I'm gonna do here. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see if this works. We're going to find out in real time, and hopefully it doesn't blow out your eardrums. Alright, so what we're going to do is, since it's so worried about freaking video, since it's going on, you need your video. Give me a second here. Where do we go? Where are you? Where's wave 4? There it is. We're going to take this, alright? We're going to take this. So now it's got a little video going, alright? The Autism Stim Board. Alright? Now stop dicking me over. His mods banned those that mentioned it, and Nick continued to praise the game for several hours until backlash began to mount on Twitter and Blue Sky from viewers who had been banned for expressing their concerns. To be clear, the content of the policies themselves isn't the primary focus here, but rather Nick's apparent support of them only to disregard and belittle the concerns of others. He was praising a product made by people who explicitly oppose those policies he claimed to support. Well, that's going to depend on a few things, honestly. But if people are being obnoxious, you're probably going to react negatively. I blocked out their name and handle for privacy reasons since they've dropped the issue and we're not involved in making it. Oh my God, can you stop doing that? Lord above, give me strength. Stop it. Stop involving people who don't want to be involved. But I feel their words are crucial to understanding the nature of the situation. With the most recent example that I'm aware of, he became condescending and disrespectful towards anyone in the chat that expressed their concerns regarding his actions and behavior, as well as calling out people who continued chatting and ignoring the issue altogether, and how Nick made himself look good coming out of it. He was called out by several people on social media. Actually, F it. I sent this as a DM to someone too, but I'm gonna make the info public. Hashtag Might9. I was sitting next to my friend on their 10 month subscriber message, asked Nick to address that he was banning people for bringing up developers' DEI statements. He then took a condescending tone and began to talk about YouTube. My friend typed, "Nah, I don't care about that." And before they could send their next message, which was going to be, "But what I do care about is that you are showcasing this game. I want to keep being a fan of yours." Banned. Nick then got to say in so many words, "Well, if you don't care about that, I can't say anything else." He then played the game and praised it for hours. Nick then got to say in so many words, okay then. My friend said to me, "Well, maybe I shouldn't have brought up being disappointed in the YouTube channel at all. Probably my fault, not their fault." And Nick gets to look good. Nope, that's what happened. End. As well as providing some context for people who continued chatting while completely ignoring the issue altogether, and Nick continued to disregard those concerns too. Mods ban people bringing up their concerns for developers' DEI statement, and DEI statements are never just about DEI. You saw comments, concerns, and didn't care. Person in the screenshot below kept chatting, by the way, sharing this before I dropped this because of shame on all you and performative apologies. Yes, Nick is a trans now. Well, as far as I know, you haven't killed a civilian, so I think you're good. You are spelled wrong. They really made a jump cutscene instead of coding jumping. LOL. Wait, I know this game. I forget. Okay, what is it? What? I hate it here. At which point he proceeded to write a long apology expressing remorse and decided to take a hiatus from streaming for over a month and never bringing it up again. Look, you can't expect people to constantly bring up when they've failed or they've screwed up like consistently. If you want somebody to keep hitting themselves with lashes, be prepared to do that yourself. But those who called him out, and I, doubt the sincerity of his apologies for reasons I get into later section of this document, noting that they need to see changes in behavior before changing their opinion of his actions. He has also deleted any clips or videos related to the stream, once again purging any evidence of him being condescending and dismissive towards the concerns of others until the backlash reached the point where he was forced to respond to save face. This was also after this, and he had only 2 streams on his Twitch channel surrounding Halloween 2025 before a final stream announcing the ending of his VTuber career. Okay, I need to double check something. The very beginning of this introduction. You know what I have noticed? Our dear author hasn't been named yet. Who wrote this Google Doc? Interesting. Section 1 conclusion. Throughout his career up to this point, every year or so, Nick has found himself involved in some significant controversy within the community and almost never comes out of it looking good. He then purges and deletes everything that could reflect on him negatively and pretends as if it never happened. As mentioned earlier, he has a long history of deleting and hiding things when the optics are not in his favor. Here's the thing, if you knew he was doing that, you should have A-logged the living daylights, had him cataloged everything. So far, this Google Doc, because we're a third of the way through it, has shown nothing factual that we can actually tie to. This is ridiculous. As mentioned earlier, he has a long history of deleting hiding things throughout his favor. To this end, there's always an element of damage control on Nick's behalf, trying to control the situation before it got too out of hand. That's something I feel towards many of his apologies that we'll be getting to soon. This has happened many times throughout his career, and every time he only apologizes to save face and protect himself. Okay. Sexual content and exploitation. Oh, I got a message from somebody. Whoomst. Hidden, letting me know the stream died. I promise you guys, when the stream dies, I know. It tells me in bright yellow. Exploitation. Okay. Okay. Can we have like an arsony? Or an arson once? Can we have like an actual Grand Theft Auto? How about some defrauding the government? I'd sure take that over the sexual stuff. Since at least the late 2010s, Nick is engaged in a series of questionable behavior towards his closest followers and supporters that has progressively escalated over the past several years. Oh boy. I'm already tired. As noted earlier, Nick began VTubing in late 2022 and became a founding member of Astroline in 2023. Actually, hold on. Chat, I'm going to put a poll in. I'm going to pull a poll in, alright? And I want you guys to answer. I don't submit to pedophiles, hate speech. The Bible has exceptions to certain things, which is why it tells us we are to obey God over man. Alright, starting poll. Because this bothers me. This bothers me. That sexual content's the second thing being discussed. It bothers me. Instead of being the first. From the beginning, Nick was known to have flirtatious and sexually charged personality. In his own words, in his debut live stream, he views carnage and carnality as connected in his mind during a portion where he describes his fondness for not safe for work content. Well, he's a furry, so of course. His avatar, that's a joke. That's a joke. His avatar / mascot / character model of the four-eyed cat demon is, in his own words, an incubus. Cringe. Many of the people he's interacted with in this way have been more than 10 years younger than him, and sometimes as young as 18 or 19, while Nick himself is in his mid to late 30s. Okay, so he's much older, but here's the thing, alright? Controversial opinion here, alright? Alright. You cannot say that an 18 and 19-year-old is an adult that is able to make their own cognizant decisions, that is able to decide what they want to do, that can consent to things, that can go fight and die for their country, and then say, well, somebody older to that degree can't date them. That is inherently predatory. Because now here's the thing. A lot of people bring up power dynamics, right? The truth of the matter is, and this is going to upset some people, it does not matter what relationship you're in, there's always going to be a power dynamic. Somebody's going to have one power or power over somebody else one way or another. You know what? I'm going to make the other thing bigger. I'm going to make the Wave 4 thing bigger so it'll shut up. Hopefully it'll accept. Enough video. Now it'll go away. It probably won't, but we'll try. I actually don't know. I am genuinely sorry, guys. I actually don't know why the stream keeps doing that. My connection speed's fine. My encoder's connected. I actually don't know what's going on here. I'm sorry, but I don't. But anyways, you're always going to have a power imbalance in a relationship. You can think it's weird. I personally think it's weird for a 40-year-old to date an 18-year-old inherently because what in the world are you going to talk to them about, dude? You're going to talk to them about Roth IRAs and freaking He-Man? They're not going to have a clue. They're like 18. Screw that. Besides, older people are better. I'd like to cover some of the more egregious content here for those who aren't familiar with it, as well as an instance of initiating content with a fan over DMs and their personal account is what they went through their time with Nick. Okay? While there are countless examples that can be found on secondary Twitter/X account used for VTubing and streaming, Nick Noctourne 8W8, I'd like to single out some more of the egregious behavior I personally witnessed as I've done my research on him over the past several months. Which is why this Google Doc doesn't have very much at all in way of evidence, right? Because you have done your research. Roth IRAs came before He-Man. Thirst trapping. There's 10 pages of this. I'm guessing this is one of the things Yennefer was warning me about. So, first and foremost, Nick has habitually engaged in thirst trapping his audience on social media and live streams, as well as engaging in sexual and explicit sexual conversations with his supporters on private Discord servers, including both the Astroline server and his own Patreon Discord server. Look, I think that it's cringe, but I don't think it's illegal. Some of these people on his servers are as young as 18 or 19. They're legal adults. Shut up. And often in their early 20s with minimal barriers to entry, while Nick is in his late 30s at the youngest based off. So you don't even know. You don't even know. Here are a few of his public posts that can be viewed right now. I would apologize for being the sluttiest cat you know, but nah, I've met sluttier cats than you. That's why we get them fixed. I must be more himbo than ever now. The challenge is obvious. Yesterday, you're the hottest demon alive. Cringe. I'm aware. Thank you. The irony of me reading off the quote-unquote slutty cat thing when I got freaking Poom Ra, who's an ageless devil priest in a different form up in the top right-hand corner. Like, that's just cathartic. A snapshot of a conversation with a random fan. It seems like this month's hot furry take is squinting. Furries over 30. Let them in the fandom. Question. Why are you like this when 90% of you advertise yourselves as thirst traps for daddies at cons run by men in their 40s who made that possible for you? Cringe. I'm going to go ahead and go down here. Tablet. No. Oh, thank God it wasn't that bad. I thought it'd be terrible. Okay. One of the several thirst trap posts made by Nick over the past several years. Look, dude, if you see this and you're sexually turned on, like, wood chipper. Anyways, an instance where he received a not safe for work art commission from a Bara furry artist. I hate that I know what that means. Oh, goodness. I'm guessing that, yep, that's Zachary. One you got sniped? Well, I didn't get sniped. All right, chat. Do you guys want Zachary on the stream with us? Do you want old Zachary on the stream? All right, they want Zachary on the stream. I'm going to hop in my office, and hopefully it lets me connect, and hopefully people read it when I list do not hop in without asking. Boop. All right, Zachary. And share. All right, Zach. For instance, there you are, Zach. All right, so you see what we're dealing with here, and we're going to go from there.
I do.
All right. So I'm sharing screen. Don't know if you saw that or not, but an instance where he received a not safe for work art commission from a Bara furry artist that he shared publicly on his second social media accounts and invited people to see the uncensored version on the Astroline Discord server. Okay, are they adults? Debut-a-thon, not safe for work, art goals fulfilled, courtesy of the incredible, whoever that is, fully uncensored version, the official Astroline Discord server, and I'm going to no, I'm gonna take this away from chat. That's horrifying, okay. And I hate that I'm looking at this. I wish nothing but misfortune on whomever drew this and the fact that he submitted it, but it's not illegal.
No, it's very much not. I'm looking at this right now. I saw this on my feed, actually.
Of course you did! Of course you did!
Andrew. Listen. Okay. So, alright. I want to say about the stuff up to this point. So here's the thing. So, for those who don't know, I am a VTuber. I'm in hiatus because I'm busy grass maxing right now. Y'all know how it go. Actually, wait. I don't know if y'all do this as commentary, but...
well, they're my audience, and they're mostly older people that have jobs, so yes.
Okay, they do. Okay. So, here's the thing that a lot of you guys will not understand unless you are a VTuber or run in VTuber spaces. Most of the sexual content, quote unquote, this is more normal than you would think.
That's not okay.
Like, this is way... No. However, I will say, VTubers being flirtatious with their fans, a lot of the time is actually a draw. As long as they don't go full fucking send and, like, try to do, like, some kind of extortion or, like, try to meet up with fans in real life. Because I've seen situations like that, and that's actually messed up. However, also, Lio, people are telling me, or are saying to turn me up. Apparently, I'm quiet. But,
yeah, right.
But, like...
You never shut up.
Yeah. And don't. I could have said something so much worse.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. Yeah. But not. So, what Nick's doing in the screenshots shown here, because I've ran in circles, not with Nick directly, but with other VTubers, on his same level of, like, popularity and stuff. Like, casual, like, flirtatious comments like this are not, like, out of the ordinary. A lot of people get weirded out by it, like I do, but a lot of VTubers actually don't. Like, they play into it a little bit. Because, like, every VTuber is parasocial to some degree. This feels like a call-out on a VTuber for being just, like, a little more sexual than other VTubers.
Cringe.
Which is, like... it's cringe, but it's not off the beaten path type shit. Like, on God.
The path should be beaten.
I'm gonna shut my mouth.
No! Bad Zach!
I'm gonna shut my mouth. Okay. Keep reading.
Okay. I am so not clicking on that blue sky. Here is the post from the Discord server. I've censored not safe for work aspects of it for the sake of this document. Why don't you see what he said? The truly skilled and dedicated Amansid sounds like an ancient, like, Babylonian entity. The horror host couch to its most after dark use. Please enjoy, and thanks again for... Again, it's not illegal. They're all adults.
No.
If they didn't
I have a question.
Yes?
Has there... Because I think the biggest smoking gun here... Like, if this person actually thought that there was misconduct of, like, actually inappropriate varieties, like, show where it says that the server's not 18 plus or that they let in minors.
Oh, no, they're not claiming that at all. They're not even claiming that minors are, like, seeing this. This is about, well, their fans are all 18, but he shouldn't be engaging them with this because...
Then what the fuck are we doing? I swear to God.
Yeah.
People are getting too comfortable with Google Drive. I swear to God.
Yeah, but let's continue. Another not safe for work art piece he shared for Easter 2025. No, I'm not clicking that.
Don't click it. Click it.
He's also frankly He is also frequently referred to as daddy or cat daddy. Well, I'm a cat dad. What's the problem with that? But his closest followers on socials and streams, no, Zach. And there are many instances you can find of him taking advantage of this in his social media posts and on live streams. One clip asking, "What's the daddy called, chat?" Okay. Being used for the open footage in his live stream during spring. What's the problem here? I mean, it's cringe. I don't like it. I wouldn't do it. Gross, but...
There are so many VTubers that act like this and it's not a problem. What is the difference, bro?
If this is a woman, he wouldn't care. On one of the private Discord servers that he participates in or owns, he and his moderators openly talked about him in a sexual manner, talking about his... No, on at least 2 occasions that I'm aware of. One of these was the Astroline Discord server. I mean, in my server, Monsters talks about my hands, but that's about it. Unfortunately, since his page is no longer visible on the Astroline Discord server since he left that agency in 2025, I can't provide screenshots of his own mention of it, but I do vividly remember him talking about getting permission from the other moderators of the server when I first began learning about all his behavior in the early months of this year, saying Monster Peen is okay to share on the server. Please study in getting a job.
I do beg, like, I see the bottom of that screenshot.
I do too. I hate it here. As well as this snippet referring to Nick from his sole moderator on the server and none of his mods on his live stream. No. I don't have...
No. Wait, I actually didn't see it.
Well, too bad. You can follow... I am not scrolling up. I don't have screenshots of this due to his channel on the server not being accessible anymore. But he also had explicit conversation with fans about future not safe for work art suggestions that could be shared on Discord servers.
Who cares? Like...
Last thing I'll mention here for this opening section is that the item sold for the debut of his Metal Monster outfit for his VTuber model in 2024.
Bitch, turn off that screen before you get it on its eyes. I've seen this before. How you doing?
The Industrial Revolution has had terrible effects for human existence.
Listen.
Put my guy back down here.
Oh my god.
He seems to move somehow, so there we go. Anywho, please,
go faster. Go faster. Okay, this is fine. This is fine.
Thank God. Last one. I hope. As well as the announcement of the Astroline Discord server to show that they all knew about this as well. Yada yada. Move that back over here. I don't care. Riz the rabbits. This is going to be cursed. Do not the rabbits. Unless it's Mirako from My Hero Academia, then maybe the rabbit. Here is one of the more notable incidents in recent memory, and at this point, I want to introduce you to one of Nick's closest associates online in the form of Roy Chaito. Okay. He and Nick have done a lot of work together over the past year or so, including a collab they did on Nick's live channel on YouTube for the 3rd season of Angel Hair. Angel Hair Pasta? There are several shorts you can find on Roy's channels on YouTube where Nick talks about always being at a baseline level of, more talk of being a himbo and so on. From April 2025, here's a stream in which Nick and two friends of his, Roy Chiato and Shiabun, spend nearly 3 hours thirst-trapping their live stream chat using their rabbit-based avatars, allowing fans to submit messages and donations so that they can reach the trio of rabbits. No.
Okay.
Wait, why am I being accused of being that on main? I just said that the rabbit woman from Academia is attractive. Look, if you don't like muscle women, there's a problem with you. Anyways. No. Well, Nick is in the middle rabbit here. Roy is left and she is on the right. I'm not looking at this image. Magic Wave. I prefer Magic Missile. In May of 2025, Nick began producing sexually explicit audio porn for a paid subscription called Magic Wave. Okay.
Yeah.
These involve Nick either performing on his own and interacting with the listener, or engaging in scenes with others such as Roy Chiato and Vam Laws over the course of the sub. Okay. Again, I don't approve from a moral perspective, but it's not illegal, so stop. Nick.
Yeah, like.
Okay, now I hate him.
Wait, hang on.
Now I hate him.
Oh my god.
Now I hate him. I hate him now.
Watching you read this is a fucking trip for me right now. This is...
Okay, this is the images. Okay, so here's the problem. Oh, thank God.
It's fine.
When you make comments like this, I think the knot has gone down. Again, that's freak behavior. That's gross. Like, that's not even like sex negative. That's actually just gross. Like, that's an animal part. Screw you. And not that way. Need someone to call your mind, surrender yourself, devoted acolyte, die. Just a typical recording session. Okay, this is just proof that he's done the thing that you're saying he is, which, it's amazing how he has proof for this, but none of the actual serious stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, now chat. We are on to grooming and manipulation.
Ooh.
Because we can't have a Google Doc unless somebody being a freak.
Yeah, hello.
Hold on.
I'm very curious to see where this goes, because nothing we've read to this point has been anything of substance. Give it to me.
Somebody's going to clip that. Anyways.
Sure.
Grooming and manipulation. During the course of my exploration of this content, I was contacted by a former patron that supported Nick in 2023 and 2024. They recounted and provided receipts to demonstrate that Nick had initiated contact with them. They expressed several times that they struggle with borderline personality disorder, which I am sorry about, that is awful. and Nick they tried to act as a quasi-therapist, cringe, while continuing to maintain contact over an extended period. Here is their personal retelling of their experiences with Nick. A lot of the story... Wait, hold on. Recounted. My apologies, I misread that. A lot of the story is covered with the DMs I shared, but I do have my own perspective about the entire experience I had with them. I did read back through the DMs myself, and I feel like, with him being a content creator, I find his behavior very appalling with how much he tried to act like an emotional therapist throughout the entire DMs. He should have had the forethought to not initiate any conversation with a fan on his end. People aren't allowed to socialize. Though I do want to provide some context to the DMs to put a frame on how things began. Hey guys, this is going to bother you. Right? You're going to blow your mind. My wife's a fan of me. Ta-da.
No.
Great. We're lagging again somehow.
Oh my god. Can you... Bro, get Gidget on fucking tech support. What are we doing?
I don't know. I actually don't know why it keeps doing this. It has been doing this for the past 3 streams, and it's making me angry.
Is it your Wi-Fi, your computer? Which one?
I don't use Wi-Fi. I am direct line access.
Yeah, okay, so that's even weirder. Okay, I'll use the nether portal that all the commentary bros think that I built in your ceiling, and I'll check it out.
YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffer. Open widget, and the widget just tells me, hey, warning, error, stream is healthy. Suggestion. The audio stream's current bitrate, 0, is lower than the recommended bitrate. We recommend that you use an audio stream bitrate of 128 kbs. How would I even know how to do that?
Is it your... You know what it low-key could be? It could be your, Okay, well, it could be your, Okay, everybody's... Wait, okay, people are saying it's just a couple seconds delayed, but it's, like, fine now. Okay, it honestly could just be your OBS fucking up.
I should probably update it at some point. Let's see here.
That's why.
Maybe. But anyways... I was a fan of his since around the time he made the Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared video, and I followed him for a couple of years afterwards. I think I might have stopped watching him in 2019. I believe the reason that was just I lost interest in his videos. I was a fan of his since around the time he made the Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared video, and I followed him for a couple of years afterwards. I think I might have stopped watching him in 2019. I believe the reason that was just that I lost interest in his videos. I only picked up watching him again during October of 2023 when I noticed he was doing VTubing, and me catching his streams a couple of weeks after he joined Astroline. I really got into his streams about unification, or unfiction, and wanted to catch back up with his videos. I fell head over heels with his newer content and decided to join his Patreon Discord server. My first contact with Nick was when I was doing a bit of a lighthearted joke in the server, saying I'd pay $500 to have Nick record hypno ASMR content for me. Why? And
bitches are freaky.
And he immediately opened DMs asking about the details regarding the commission. Well, I mean, money's money. That's at least some backstory to the DMs themselves to provide some context for how everything kicked off and their final thoughts.
Okay. So, I immediately need to ask, so this person joined, and Nick's first impression of them is they offer $500 to record an ASMR, and then he goes, oh yeah, maybe I could do that, and it hits them up about a commission exchange.
Yeah. Their final thoughts on it. Looking back over my time with Nick, I feel he emotionally groomed me for the purposes of monetary gain from my own financial
I'm gonna throw something.
I can't. What is this? Why do we keep watering down these terms? This is not grooming. What? This is you offering money to a content creator. You regretting that doesn't mean you were groomed.
This is actually fucking insane, dude. Like...
Oh my god,
where was all of this at the front of the dock?
Does Super 7 groom me because I pay money for their garbage products that I actually wind up hating?
Well, yes.
I'm sorry, am I a grooming victim of Hasbro now too? How about Bondi? Oh god, it would be Bondi, wouldn't it? I still got an entire closet full of Gundams. This is stupid! No wonder this is further down in the dock. He took advantage of the fact that I have borderline personality disorder and attempted to lure me in with parasocial dynamic used building with me. He claims he did not want a parasocial dynamic with me, but his actions contradict his claim. Responding and interacting with me through his DMs, he crossed that creator to fan line multiple times with me. And I genuinely feel hurt and traumatized because of that fact. I can no longer trust any creators because of my experience with Nick. I remain hesitant to enjoy the unit on fiction media because it reminds me of him too much. Oh my god! All right. You get to be Jack on this, Zach, since you decided to be part of this. So I'm going to play Nick. You can play Jack. Sounds good. And hey, if you're getting a figure, I can roll a 350 easy. :3.
No worries. I mean, it was a bit of a hyperbole on the price, TBH. I do sometimes have the tendency to do that. Like, realistically, maybe closer to 350, 400, if that would be okay with you. I do have money coming up sometime mid this month from a hackathon I was at an NYC last month, so that'll cover all of it. I'll let you know when they go ahead and send over the deposit, and we can get started from then.
You know, it's interesting, isn't it, how it went from 500 to 350. Anyways, and by the way...
And also, isn't it interesting that, like, we went from... We literally just got proven that this was a business exchange? My fuck.
And by the way, it's okay to jar the figure. LOL. Why would you jar the figure? The figure shouldn't be in the door. I'll take the payment through Patreon. Oh god, it's buffering again.
Oh my god. The second we get into juicy shit, the stream's like, okay, fuck you now.
Of course you'd consider it juicy.
Listen.
I'll take the payment through Patreon. Just an easy uptick in the patronage should, I think, automatically go through as if it were directly PayPal. I know you said 500, and anyone else maybe tell me to just say yes and proceed. But I do want to make sure. Is that your comfortable offer? This is a custom, but this is my first time offering something direct in this manner, as a dedicated work that I'd give Nightmind Audio treatment.
He literally made sure that you were comfortable with the price, but you're like, he made me do this. Where?
I'd like to know more about what's out there in the audio field this way, :3. I'm here for the conversation. You're good to tell me.
Well, I do have my preferences with sleep hypnosis myself. I mean, if you're open to that stuff, I'd be more than happy to go in depth with it. I'm gonna throw something.
What kind of hypnosis are we talking? I think it's the pie in the window type that sort of like bids you to come and you float on the smell. Anyways, usually it's hyperbole when someone says anything like that. I'm not one to jump at hyperbole or things like this, but I have been enjoying voice work quite a lot lately. Wasn't kidding, huh? :P. This individual has also claimed there was another person who doesn't wish to be named here who went through a similar experience. Did they give money in exchange for services?
Oh, fuck. Partaking in capitalism in the big 2-5? No.
Going through many of the same struggles and interacting with Nick in the same way. I don't see any evidence of taking advantage of BPD. I don't see any evidence of grooming. I see regretting a transaction. It's not the same thing.
Wait, this was literally all of it?
Yeah. This is literally, these 2 pages are literally the grooming and manipulation.
Behold, the land in which I grow my fucks. It is barren. What the fuck are we doing, bro?
So, the Section 2 conclusion. Some see these things as merely another form of content and expression, but I disagree, especially since he, and many of his close friends in recent years, have financially benefited from thirst-trapping and engaging in these behaviors with their audience. This person would lose their mind if they looked at the majority of VTubers. They would lose their minds at all the women out there. Oh my goodness, they would lose their minds. Why do you think so many VTuber women have massive tits? And why do you think they give them jiggle physics? I wonder why. I wonder why they might be doing that.
Yeah, like, why do you think ASMR as a concept exists for most fucking VTubers? Like, this literally feels like somebody who pearl clutched over, like, one VTuber and then, like, never saw anything else VTubing related. Like, oh my god.
I'll give ASMR the ASMR of calling you stupid. As demonstrated in his response...
Don't do that.
As demonstrated in his response to the Alex Kister situation, Nick perfectly understands how power dynamics work between content creators and their audiences. From my point of view, he has exploited his power imbalance constantly throughout the years from his own, my point of view, you're a moron, for his own gain and personal satisfaction, taking advantage of people in the horror and furry communities who are often 10 years younger than him. Oh, the poor babies. If you're in your 20s, you are an infant, you are a toddler, you are a 20-year-old minor. You can't make any decisions for yourself. You can't
Goo goo gaga, motherfucker, like...
Good lord. who have followed him and his work for a while. There is a significant difference between creating a safe and open space for free discussion of sexuality without judgment or prejudice, and thirst trapping your audience for financial gain and sexual satisfaction on a regular basis over the course of years. If this person met a prostitute, their head would explode.
Yes. Have you seen a VTuber literally ever?
Well,
oh my god.
If they came at this from hey, I think this is sinful behavior, I think this is morally reprehensible because sex work's not valid, whatever, I would respect that more. I could at least understand that mentality, but he's not even saying that as a whole, just specifically this guy. So what this is reading to me, personally, here's my game theory out there. There's a film theory, a game theory. Thanks for watching. Is that this guy has a personal vendetta and is clawing the best he possibly can to get something together to go at Nick with. Which, ironically, if he really wanted to be, he'd just call Nick a zoophile for the not stuff and leave it at that. But nope, can't do that.
Even then, it's one time that we've seen this ever. Which, weird, gross, yes.
I trust
However, yeah,
So, the next section is performative apologies and damage control. Well, you'd know a lot about performative, wouldn't you, buddy? For this final section, I want to revisit the incidents that occurred throughout his career up to this point. At least those I'm aware of. In each and every instance where the backlash was great enough, Nick was compelled to write some enormous response for each and every single one. Some of these are far worse than others when you began reading between the lines, but they are his own words. I think these largely speak for themselves along with the responses to them. I'll ask you to withhold judgment on these until you've seen them all, because there's a pattern that starts to emerge that I'll talk about in my closing remarks in this section.
Okay. Bitch, I will not be holding longer attention spans than a goldfish. You got me through how many different sections of this without making a single point? Judgment cast on every sentence. Go to the first one.
Apology to Nyx. I'm not clicking on that. And the reason why I'm not clicking on this is because Nyx accepted the apology. I don't think he asked Nyx's permission to put this in here. That's scumbag behavior. So, response to Dead Palette.
Fuck that tea.
This is covered in the section responding to Dead Palette and Slime Beast early in the document. That I'll reiterate that why. Ashes.
What are we doing?
Ashes 2018. This is an apology that Nick wrote to his subreddit in the end of 2018. Entity describes wanting to put the character of Nick Noctourne on the sidelines and focus on the works themselves, something he later backpedaled on. You've seen by now, fully embrace his character. Who cares? Oh my god, who cares?
Who gives a singular fuck?
Response to Tribe 12. Nick's full apology regarding his handling of the Tribe 12 situation and his defenses of Adam Rosner early on. The response to this one, which was quite negative, with people rightfully pointing out Nick plays the victim here. He deleted and tried to remove this one, but it has been archived below. Apology to Alex Kister. Following the conclusion of the drama concerning Alex Kister, Nick issued another apology. Another poorly received apology. It was deleted as well, but a person on Reddit managed to archive it. What's the point? Response to the lollipop chainsaw. I don't... Section 3 conclusion.
Oh.
Every single time Nick is called it, and I'll call it for his behavior, and received enough backlash to force a response, he is let loose with these enormous verbose apologies to protect himself, pleading that he knows he's made a mistake, taking accountability, attempting to validate the feelings and concerns of those he's wronged, saying he will treat it with a learning experience, promising to do better and improve, checking all the right boxes to try to convince people that he sincerely regrets his actions, but people who sincerely wish to learn from their mistakes and strive for self-improvement don't need to keep making the same apologies and promises every year for nearly a decade with a different coat of paint. It cannot be excused by inexperience or isolated lapses in judgment. Regardless of whether or not he's made these amends, whether he's made these amends with the affected individuals mentioned in his document or not, this is a consistent pattern of behavior that has repeated itself again and again. Every time he smooths things over with someone he is hurt, there's always someone else who is negatively affected by his actions and behavior. To this end, I see these enormous apologies made as an exercise in damage control. He has consistently shut down discussions about his behavior over the years, along with harassment of his most dedicated fans to avoid consequences for his actions. Knowing that he needs to do something to quell the backlash before things get too big to control. Controlling the narrative for his own benefit, deleting and hiding anything he's posted that was poorly received to save face, using the idea of being mature adults several times throughout these incidents as a beating stick to stifle further discussion and criticism directed towards his audience, encouraging people to let things go because he wants people to forget. With how little attention has been paid to these actions relative to the size of his influence and following, it shows how well he's done at keeping them under wraps. Conclusion. Go ahead.
Or it's almost like nobody has this vendetta ass shit that you have, and therefore don't need to document little one-off shit like this, because this is weirdo behavior.
I have to pull something up since you used a specific word. One moment.
Oh no.
Give me a moment. The chat will appreciate this when I get there. Let me pause it. I gotta find the timestamp.
Wait, will I be able to see it on the stream?
No, but I'll tell you when it's done. You'll hear it later.
Oh my god. This is about to be the gayest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Actually,
you laughing ain't helping.
Actually, I can actually just I'm just gonna go through the rest of the doc, so I'm gonna stop the sharing on that. I'll share the video I'm about to play with you, Zach. That way you can see what we're talking about.
Aw, thank you.
The audience will hear it, but they won't see it. Let's see here.
I used to tell you that it was a matter of honor. That you struck me and vendetta must be observed. But that's a lie. I hate you because he was going to teach you all 7 steps of his most secret martial form instead of me. I hate you because he chose you. That's all. I had him killed by a Cobra sniper. But you, all I've wanted for years is to kill you myself.
It was vendetta!
Jesus.
Alright, so, last page. Alright?
Oh my god.
The conclusion,
Sweet
the overall
relief.
conclusion. The reason I've chosen to commit to compiling this Google Doc, and the reason I want to put all of this out publicly for the world to see, is that this is not the type of person I want representing this genre or the community surrounding it, especially as he started to become more elevated through his voice acting roles and connections to other influential figures. I want to be clear, Nick has done a lot of good things in his career. He shined a spotlight on many underappreciated artists, promoted this medium in a lot of ways, and been public about his support of marginalized group. But these are all good things he deserves credit for as an influence in the space. But Nick has also hurt, harassed, and exploited many people in the community with far less power and influence than he has enjoyed in a circle that continues to repeat itself again and again, hiding and deleting any evidence that's available to prevent himself from looking bad. Taking everything that has been compiled and documented here, this is not the sort of person I want representing this genre or community any longer. Taking all this in hand and the conclusions that I've arrived based on everything I've seen here, I implore you to make your own judgment and evaluations based on all the evidence and statements that have been made here. So here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to
What are we about to do?
Poll time!
Oh, shit.
Let me in the last one, because I forgot to. Poll time!
Fucking, oh my god.
Let's see here.
What? Talk your shit. What are we about to do? What are we about to do?
Do you believe the doc? Yes or no?
If any of you bitches say yes, I want your names listed so that way I could get full written 5-paragraph essays explaining why. I need to know.
Yeah.
By the way, I clicked yes.
Of course you did. So here's the thing. I have a feeling... this doc doesn't have evidence of the most egregious stuff. Like, okay, if he's a dick, he's a dick, right? It happens. And it does not matter what content you make. You're going to make mistakes, and you're going to hurt people. Human existence, you're going to hurt somebody, right? Who you hurt, why, and how you handled that is what is the delineating factor or delineating line of what you should and how you should do things, right? So, I have not seen sufficient evidence for the most egregious things said here. I have not seen documentation. Because, you know, I know there were a lot of Reddit things we didn't look at, but that's for what? Just being a dick? I'm more concerned with the claims of sexual exploitation, grooming, and manipulation, which doesn't seem to be anything there. It doesn't seem to be anything.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling this is a jilted lover, an upset former fan, or maybe even a competitor. Because here's the thing. If you're coming out with a doc like this, let me be very clear here. Sign your name on it.
Yeah, wait, so, like, the person didn't even actually, like, say who they were?
There is no name anywhere listed on this doc. Now, I don't know where the doc came from. Maybe it is from their Twitter account, and I just don't know it. But here we go.
Let me do some investigative journalism on Twitter.com. One sec, because I gotta know. Because that would provide a lot of context to what's actually going on. Alright. I'll look up Nightmind first, because I think that might pull first. Oh, wow. Okay, I legitimately... How did you even get this?
Fauci sent it to me.
Okay. Interesting. I'm not seeing anything under Night Mind. If I look up Nick Nocturne... Okay, so it looks like it actually came from Reddit for some reason.
Of course it did. I hate Reddit.
Yeah, this is
sucks
such Reddit fucking behavior.
All right, so here's my value on this doc, right? To make this very clear. It's 4 words, all right? I'm going to pull it up. You'll all recognize it.
I was gonna go with "fuck you, stupid bitch." Is that good enough?
That'd be fine for you, but I just played the Tom and Jerry clip. Don't you believe it?
I mean, yeah, there is that. Like, God.
Look, I believe the Nick stuff simply because it seems like Nightmind confirmed that, but if it's something that he's apologized for and both of them worked through, it shouldn't have been relitigated just to take a snipe at him, right? Well, please, if I made this doc, there'd be too many references of Transformers. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to read through the super chats, which I appreciate, because we're pretty long stream this time around. And then we're going to...
It's like 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah, then we're going to log off, so... Do supers and gifts. See y'all. All right, so... Rice in socks for $2. I now listen and occasional popping in. Thank you. Corey Misson for $5. Heading out to work. Be safe and behave. No promises. Digital Sketch for $10. Can't stay for long, but I hope you have a good Thanksgiving with the Weef. That's the plan. Dean Draxon for $5. Hidden reminded me to throw money at Peepaw, so enjoy. Also help with Thanksgiving for those that celebrate. Well, thank you. And thank you to Hidden for reminding people, I guess. Cedar the Critter for $10. Just throwing in some moolah to say Happy Turkey Day. I don't personally celebrate Thanksgiving as a whole. I just like the food. LOL. True. Belcy Gell for $2. 1999 by Prince is better anyways. I actually never listened to much of Prince's music. Vinkman, $10. Now that Lio's eyes move during the reading screen, I'm half expecting to say, this message will self-destruct and crumble the paper before absentmindedly tossing it at Chief Quimbley. I mean, Inspector Gadget was based. Platinum Amex for $5. Hey, old man. Wish I could stay, but I need to sleep. But if you want to see something cool, check fan art in the Discord. I think it came out great. Enjoy. I'll check that out in a minute. Gelsey Bell for $10. Nerdy answer. Troy Wagner named the series Marble Hornets based on the 2 things he saw on billboards as he was driving: marble installation and hornet removal. I hate it. Dean Draxon, another one for $2 for your sanity Peepaw. That's long since left. Strawberry Milk for $10. Keep up the wonderful work and keeping us informed. And the artwork is always great to see. Well, it can always be better. So let me go ahead and check up here in the fan art section, because I know Beckett and others are much better at checking that stuff out than I am. So
LMAO.
Yes, very LMAO. Oh my goodness. All right.
Hang on, I gotta see this shit.
I'm pulling it on screen. You can see it on the stream. Apparently, I'm Phoenix Wright now, and I'm calling someone a dork.
Oh my fucking god.
That is hilarious. Good job.
That's fucking beautiful.
It's amazing. All right, so with all of that out of the way, thank God. Lady Chickadiful for $2. The doc is lame. Writer step on a D4. Step on Legos that are made of metal. Anyways, we're gonna skedaddle, going to commercial, and I hope you all have a good evening, and I hope you guys enjoy whatever you celebrate, or the day off if you don't. I'll catch you guys later. Take care.
Don't miss the super androids that fly on wings of silver and fight with nerves of steel. The mighty Silverhawks.
Afternoons at 4.
Thundercats! Ho! Thunder excitement is flying at you this fall when the Thundercats tear into action.
Let's cut those mutants down to size.
Get ready to strike a blow for justice this fall with the mighty Thundercats.
Lupin!
Lupin! That man is a notorious thief who works all over the world!
Let's go meet this treasure that's soon to be ours.
Don't say that I didn't warn you.
cheese box can't get anything past you.
He'll steal your heart, and then he's coming for everything else. Lupin the Third, premiering next Saturday night at 2.
Take it off.
That'll be my pleasure.
Only Toonami on a...
ビーストウォーズセカンド最大の敵がついに目覚めたライオコンボイ変身新司令官の登場だガルバトロントランスフォーム破壊大帝驚異の三段変形ライオン台風史上最大の対決君も参加せよだからトランスフォーマービーストウォーズ
If one is born a man, at least once in his life, he will dream of becoming the strongest man alive.
Are you surprised at all? This is Orochi-style karate.
That's it, baby. Come straight for me.
Your training has paid off most impressively. I'd be happy to reward you now for all the progress you've made.
It could never require
What an adorable little playground you have here.
Maki the Grappler.
You have accessed the secret files of the SWAT Cats. Name, automatic cement launcher. Function, launches pre-mixed fast-drying cement at the rate of 5,000 GPM, glots per minute. Very effective at freezing monsters right in their tracks. Ending transmission. You have accessed the secret files of the SWAT Cats. Name, Jake Clausen. Occupation, garage mechanic. Alias, Razor. Real job, SWAT Cat. Designs gadgets to capture bad guys. Goal, protection of Mega Cat City. Favorite expression, bingo. Ending transmission.
Meet St. Canard's Most Wanted.
Eat wanted, Starkling!
There's Megavolt, criminal circuit breaker.
It's playtime!
Quacker Jack, fiendish felon. Bushroot, experiment gone haywire.
I'm really not sinister, just misunderstood.
And diabolical evildoer Mega Duck.
A rotten kind of guy!
And only one superhero can stop them.
The original, Mr. Fix-It! Get up!
Darkwing Duck.
A new Optimus Prime is here.
I'll transform Optimus.
Power Master Optimus Prime, greatest leader of his time.
It's great to be back.
Now, Optimus Prime is back as a Power Master. He only transforms when his Nebulon becomes his engine. Power Master Optimus Prime.
Look, Optimus is transforming into a super robot.
Power Master Transformers. They've got the power to surprise.
The earth lies shattered and broken. A ruined wasteland that is now struggling to sustain life. Humanity is near the end after a devastating global meltdown. The oceans have been boiled away in nuclear fire. The land is charred and disfigured, saturated with deadly toxins. Life is a nightmarish struggle. The radiation levels have created hideous, mutated human savages. Mentally deranged, they roam in search of food and water. Gruesome violence brings terrible death to those who encounter these murderous mutants. It is an orgy of chaos, madness on a global scale. Savagery knows no limits. There are no nations, no laws, no order. In this grim reality, the forces of good and evil are once more preparing to fight for the future of mankind. Far, far away, a star shines out from the blackness of space.
A beacon for the lost, a symbol of hope, an unfailing comfort to those on a journey. Known as the North Star, it has, through the ages, meant many things to many men. Under this eternal light walks the namesake of this star, a man of power and purity. A living beacon of hope, destined to bring light into the darkness. He is a feared man, spoken of in hushed tones. A legendary fighter, able to call on secret powers. Violence is met with worse violence as Ken destroys the forces of his evil half-brother. Heads roll, bodies fall, and the earth runs red as Ken draws ever nearer to Shin's stronghold in the city of the Southern Cross. The scene is set for an epic struggle between good and evil. What Shin started cannot be stopped. Many will die trying. Many will run. But there is only one Fist of the North Star.